Justice Jackson?
Yes. So I just wanted to say how perplexed I was about the questions that seem to distinguish this kind of sexual orientation refusal to provide services from the race discrimination. And there were some questions raised about, religion being the basis. But I guess, and you might be able to help me with this and you might not, but I was fairly certain that historically opposition to interracial marriages and to integration in many instances was on religious grounds. So I don't know that we can say that just because we have a religious objection to same-sex marriage in this situation, that wouldn't necessarily implicate religious objections to other kinds of situations. Am I right about that?
Absolutely correct about that. I mean, Bob Jones University is a good example of that case where there was a religious basis. So
whatever we decide here, as Justice Barrett suggested, could have implications for other kinds of categorizations in First Amendment, strongly religious held First Amendment invocations of rights.
Absolutely, and I think the reason my friend was having such difficulty giving clear answers to some of these hard questions was because there is no way to cabin this to, under the free speech clause exemption they seek, just to weddings or sexual orientation.
All right, so can I just direct your attention back to Justice Kagan's question, because I think she made good points about the God bless this union hypothetical. And I guess I was thinking, isn't part of the problem trying to figure out whose statement of opinion it is when you have a public accommodation, when you have an artist for hire, right? Ordinarily, you would have an artist who, even though they're making custom, things, they're making custom things based on their own views and opinions, and this is my art. But when you have an artist for hire and people come to them and say, here's what I'd like you to make, there's a question about whether what they make is their statement or the customer's statement. So if it was clear that it was not their statement, let's say the gay couple comes and they say, we want God bless this union on our website, and the web designer says that's fine, but you understand under our name at the bottom, we say on every website, we believe that marriage is only between one man and one woman, and we're going to put that on your website. Justice Alito says maybe that person will walk away, and maybe they will. But the point is, if they do that in every situation, and it's clear that it's not their statement, then do we solve the difficult Justice Kagan problem of like who's making an expression here?
I think we make progress towards solving it. And I think back to the stipulations, I think it's notable that the stipulations here do not address that question that you raised, Justice Jackson. What the company says is, well, every website has designed by 303 Creative at the bottom. That's paragraph 83 of the stipulations. And then they say, and if a viewer of a wedding website goes to 303 Creative, then they will understand our philosophy, our own website, then they will understand our philosophy and understand that there's some implicit recognition or endorsement, whatever, of the wedding. But on the stipulated facts here, the question you pose is totally wide open. There's no evidence in the record whatsoever and no websites in the record to look at to see whether anyone would attribute the speech about the couple on the wedding website to the designer as opposed to the couple.
Should we have that as part of our standard in the holding? Like, let's say we don't want to go as far as you're suggesting, perhaps, with the holding in this case. Could it be that we would say, the First Amendment protects the web designer's abilities to, not have this kind of a same-sex wedding website only if it would be clear from a neutral observer or from the audience that having that website is their own expression?
So two things to say on that, Your Honor. First is, I think both Spence and Hurley itself talked about the importance of how an onlooker would look at the message and who the onlooker would attribute the message to. So I think certainly could build on that. And again, here, there's no evidence whatsoever that anyone would look at a wedding website designed by 303 Creative and say, oh, that is the speech and beliefs of the designer as opposed to the couple getting married.
Thank you.